Eating VC. All right, so I just got done watching a video from Karen at Needle Groove up in Montreal. Did the jazz vinyl tag. I believe Rob the Wax put out the questions. So I thought I'd throw my hat in the ring on this. There's only 10 questions, I believe, so we'll run through these. First question shows some VCLT. So like Karen, I'll try to show some of the earliest VCLT here, which I remembered one of them from a package that Teddy at Eat Sleep Vinyl sent me. It was the first time I got VCLT, and there's some great stuff that was in it. This record on Steeplechase, an original stereo copy of the Camel by Michael Carvin, great drummer, and hell of a lineup with Cecil Bridgewater, Sonny Fortune, Ron Burton, and Calvin Hill. 1975, yeah, this record out of Copenhagen, Denmark, and kind of a sought-after record these days, but I got it as VCLT many years back. Show an album that you have in both stereo and mono. This was difficult because I usually there's very few records I have multiple copies of. This happens to be one, and it's kind of an interesting deal, and that's Sun Ra, the Magic City. So the originals were in mono, and this is a Saturn Research reissue, one of the early, an early Sun Ra record with a, your full gamut lineup there with, John Gilmore, Marshall Allen, Danny Davis, Ronnie Boykins, just to name a few. And yeah, so this is in mono. And then Impulse got a hold of some of those titles in the 70s from Saturn Research, Impulse ABC Records, and they redid the artwork and everything. Now, some of this is in mono still. Side 1, I believe, is in mono, but part of Side 2, if not all of Side 2, is in stereo. It's been a while since I spun it, but yeah, it's kind of an interesting deal. This is really all I had, kind of to fit this question. Number 3, show an OG and a reissue. I have this record here. I first got the reissue that had come out a while back on Verve through Universal Music, and that's Ferell Sanders, Deaf, Dumb, and Blind. And it's a nice reissue copy. I was happy with it. And then I happened to stumble upon an original for $3 at Premium Sound here in Charlotte. So, I mean, the cover's in rough shape, but the record's fine. Probably VG, bordering on VG plus. So for $3, I grabbed the OG. Number 4, an artist not normally known for jazz. This is the only thing I could think of, the Ray Charles at Newport album, where Ray's throwing down with a jazz group. He plays some sax on this, he sings and plays piano too, of course, but yeah, you got like Marcus Belgrave on trumpet on this, Benny Crawford baritone sax, and David Newman tenor. That's a Scorching Affair in Newport, Atlantic. That's an original copy of that. The next question. An album that was shelved. This, I believe, is the first that this recording's seen the light of day. It was released, I think, last year. Children of the Forest from Milford Graves with Arthur Doyle and Hugh Glover, from 1976. Very, very intense free jazz affair. That's on Black Editions, I believe. Yeah, they didn't do the Lord's work. Show private pressing. Gonna piggyback on the label that the private label that Kieran showed, and that's A.R. Panks, label from Germany. He put out a lot of records. I have 5 or 6 of them right here. This is my favorite, and this is the Royal Academy Music Performance 1 and 2 from 1985. Bob Flagg is listed as the sax player, but that's an alias for John Chakai, as he was signed to a label at the time. The Wolney brothers, of course, feature on most of these records on guitar and bass. A.R. Panks on piano here. He is known to also play drums on some of these records. But Louis Maholo is on drums. And this is an impressive performance. Gorgeous music. One of my favorite jazz records that I own. And let me see if I can show you the label. There's a lion on most of these labels. Very cool label. Private pressings, which you pretty much have to get from Germany. I've imported, like I said, 5 or 6 of them from the same guy, and they're not cheap, and they require a plane ticket, so I've kind of slowed down on these. I would like to get those Jean Lees that Karen showed one of those. She's a favorite when it comes to jazz vocals. Showing record that's an intro to free jazz, avant-garde, and spiritual jazz. For free jazz, I chose one that would be a name people would recognize. That's John Coltrane, Interstellar Space. Brilliant record with Rashid Ali. One of the greatest records ever recorded, in my opinion. But I'm pretty biased. ABC Impulse original here. So for avant-garde, I went with, you could do any of the avant bop period from Blue Note, like Evolution from Encore. It's got the great vibes from Hutcherson on it, but this one can get avant, surprisingly, and is a good kind of starter one. George Braith Extension. This definitely has some avant leanings. This is a classic press. Grant Green, Billy Gardner, and Clarence Johnston, a couple guys you don't see on a lot of sessions. Of course, Grant Green you do, but the other two not so much. But this is really good. Braith on tenor, soprano, and alto, so showing off on all 3 instruments. And then, yeah, for spiritual, yeah, this one, Ferell Sanders, Loving Us All. This is an original copy. I had 2 original copies, actually, because I found one for $8, and I sent it to Henry Derrick Ellis out in L.A., who used to have a VC channel. Yeah, gorgeous LP right here as far as spiritual jazz goes. It'd be a good starter one. Cheap Heat, this record is in dollar bins still. I see it all the time. $3. I don't know. It's a cheap record, but it is straight fire. This performance. This Woody Shaw, Woody 3, with one of the worst album covers ever. This is a promo copy. This is some live stuff, I think from the Vanguard. Yeah, it just totally shreds. What a freaking record. James Spaulding, an underrated player on alto on this. Rennie McLean, which is the son of course, Jackie. Buster Williams bass. Yeah. Super cheap Heat. 9. Reissue for 24. The Souffle Continue label from France has been doing a lot of good reissues. I'd like to see them continue putting out the Palm label. It'd be nice if they put out a reissue of this. I know a lot of people are looking for it. Frank Lowe, The Other Side, is original on Palm. I'd like to see them get to some of these heavier pieces as far as reissue goes. Butch Morris on cornet here with Frank. That's a hell of a free jazz affair. Grail acquired due to the vinyl community. This one came in, I've talked about it and shown it a bunch of times, but I'll show it again. Cleve Posar solo percussion. Absolutely stunning copy that a trade went down for to get this into my hands. The CSP label there. Private pressing. Beautiful percussion album from Cleve Posar out of New York. and a record that's never been reissued. Yeah, John Coltrane 68, and the effects. Tom Minko from Effects P Channel put together a trade and got this to me, and yeah, I don't even know what my next grail is. So that's the jazz vinyl tag. Hope everybody's well. Peace.